Commander Hyun-Soo Kim pressed his hands against the cold glass of the observation deck and watched the giant metal pieces move slowly through space. The massive ship was almost finished now. It was longer than any building he had ever seen, stretching out like a gray mountain with sharp edges and deep holes where weapons would go. "Sir, the aliens are calling us again," said Lieutenant Sejin Park. Her voice shook a little when she spoke. She had been afraid ever since the strange ships appeared near their solar system 3 weeks ago. "They want us to give up. They say we must join their group or they will make us." Hyun-Soo turned away from the window. His face looked tired and worried. The aliens called themselves the Altian Confederacy. Their ships were unlike anything humans had ever built. They looked alive, like giant sea creatures that glowed in the dark. But these creatures could destroy entire planets. "What did our leaders say back to them?" he asked. He walked over to a big table covered with glowing screens and buttons. Admiral Minute-Ho Lee was there, talking to people on Earth through a radio. The president sent them a message, Admiral Lee said with a small smile. "We said no thank you to their kind offer." Hyun-Soo looked back through the window at the huge ship being built outside. Korean workers had been the best at building it fast. All the factories on Earth and in space were working day and night. They were making something that no one in the galaxy had ever made before. A ship built only to fight and destroy other ships. The aliens had sent their message clearly. Join us or die. But humans had their own message to send back. And it was 3 kilometers long, made of steel, and would soon have enough weapons to crack open moons. "How much longer until our ship is ready to fight?" Hyun-Soo asked. 3 days, someone answered. "I hope the aliens wait that long." Through the thick glass, Hyun-Soo could see the alien scout ships in the distance. They glowed with soft blue light as they moved past the outer planets. They looked beautiful, like floating jellyfish made of light. But everyone knew they were here to study human defenses before the main attack came. The lunar construction site was busy with thousands of workers. Welding sparks flew like tiny stars as the final armor plates were put in place. Giant crane machines moved weapon parts that were bigger than houses. Everything had to be perfect. There would be no second chances. "So, Earth Command is asking about the special weapons," Lieutenant Park said quietly. "The ones from Project Prometheus." Admiral Lee's face became very serious. "Tell them those weapons are loaded and ready. But we all pray we never have to use them." The Leviathan was not just big. It was designed by people who understood that sometimes you have to be ready to destroy your enemy completely. Other races in the galaxy fought small wars over territory or resources. Humans had learned to fight total war. Every factory, every worker, every piece of technology focused on one goal, winning by destroying the enemy's ability to fight back. Hyun-Soo remembered the old stories about wars on Earth. When humans fought, they did not just send a few ships to have polite battles. They built thousands of planes, millions of bullets, and weapons that could level entire cities. Now they were bringing that same approach to space. The alien ships were faster and had better shields. Their weapons could adapt and change during battle. But they had never faced an enemy that would turn their entire civilization into a weapon factory just to build one perfect killing machine. "Look at that," Admiral Lee said, pointing to a screen showing the ship's power readings. "When we turn on all the weapons at once, this ship will use more energy than some planets." The Leviathan was almost ready. Its nuclear engines could push it faster than any human ship before. Its armor was thick enough to stop alien weapons. Its guns could punch through the hull of enemy ships from thousands of miles away. And hidden deep inside were weapons so powerful that even the engineers who built them were scared. "So, long-range sensors show the main alien fleet moving toward Mars," reported another officer. "Estimated time until they reach Earth orbit, 5 days. "Good," Hyun-Soo said. "That gives us 2 extra days to finish testing our systems." He looked out at the ship one more time. Soon it would leave this construction site and travel to meet the alien fleet. The battle would decide if humans remained free or became slaves to creatures from another star. But looking at the massive warship floating in space, Hyun-Soo felt something he had not felt in weeks. Hope. The aliens thought they were facing another primitive species with simple weapons and weak defenses. They were about to learn that humans had spent thousands of years perfecting the art of war. And now they had built their masterpiece. The first human battleship was almost ready to show the galaxy what total war really meant. Captain Ji-won Choi held tight to her chair as her ship shook violently. The mining vessel Prosperity was never meant to fight in space battles. It was built to dig rocks out of asteroids, not dodge alien death rays. But when the aliens came, every human ship that could fly was pressed into service. "How bad are our shields?" she shouted over the noise of alarms and explosions. The ship rocked again as another bright green energy beam barely missed them. Chief Engineer Tai-Ho Yoon looked at his control panel with fear in his eyes. "We're almost out of power. Captain, the shields that protect us from space rocks can't stop alien weapons. We're down to 20%. Ji-won looked at the big screen showing the battle around them. What humans called their first defense fleet was really just a collection of cargo ships, mining vessels, and space tugs with guns bolted onto them. They were fighting against sleek alien ships that looked like giant living creatures made of metal and flesh. "Captain Ji-won, this is Captain Won-sik-nam on the Seoul Pride," came a voice through the radio. The signal was full of static and fey. "Our weapons are useless. Everything we shoot at them, they just adapt to it. It's like shooting at something that learns how to not be hurt." Ji-won watched in horror as the Busan Runner, a converted freight hauler, suddenly exploded in a bowl of fire and metal. 43 people had been on that ship. One of them was her old friend from the Space Academy. Now they were all gone, scattered atoms floating in the dark. "All ships, fall back now," she ordered, trying to keep her voice calm even though she was filled with rage and sadness. "Move to Mars. We'll make our next stand there." The surviving human ships turned and ran. Their engines left trails of blue fire as they fled from the alien vessels. Many were damaged and limping. The Prosperity's hull had holes burned through it in 3 places. Far behind them, on the command ship of the alien fleet, Fleet Commander Vexstar watched the humans retreat. The commander felt something like pity for these primitive creatures. They had fought bravely, but bravery meant nothing when facing the advanced evolution of the Ultian Confederacy. The alien ships were alive in a way. Their hulls could deal damage and adapt to new weapons. Their guns were living things that grew stronger with each battle. The Ulterians had conquered dozens of worlds using these bioships. They always won because their technology could change and improve during fights. "These humans show spirit," Vexstar said to the other alien officers. "But spirit cannot overcome millions of years of genetic perfection. Soon they will understand that joining our confederacy is a gift, not a punishment." What the alien commander did not know was that the humans were doing something very sneaky during the battle. Every time an alien ship adapted to a human weapon, the humans recorded it. Every time their shields failed, they measured exactly how. Every piece of alien technology they could scan was being studied. Deep inside the moon, in secret laboratories carved out of rock, Dr. Suminik Kang and her team worked frantically. They had pieces of alien ships that had been recovered from earlier skirmishes. Using powerful computers and microscopes, they were figuring out how the alien technology worked. "Look at this," Dr. Kang said to her assistant, pointing at a sample of alien hull material under scanner. "Their biometal can reorganize itself at the molecular level, but it takes energy to do that. If we can overload that process..." The first battle had been a disaster for humanity. Half the defense fleet was destroyed. Hundreds of good people had died, but humans had learned something important. The aliens were used to fighting enemies who gave up after the first defeat. They had never faced a species that treated every loss as a learning opportunity. In the wreckage floating between the planets, human recovery ships moved quickly and quietly. They collected pieces of alien technology, recorded energy signatures, and analyzed weapon patterns. Every scrap of information was sent back to Earth and the moon bases. The aliens thought they had won an easy victory. They expected the humans to surrender now that they had seen the power of the Confederacy. But humans had a different plan. They were going to study their enemy, learn their weaknesses, and then build weapons specifically designed to exploit those weaknesses. Captain Ji-won Choi sat in a damaged ship as it limped toward Mars. Her crew was bandaging wounds and fixing broken systems. Around her, the survivors of the first defense fleet did the same. They had lost the first battle, but the war was just beginning. "Captain," her communications officer called out, "we're getting a message from Earth Command. They want all combat data uploaded immediately." "Send them everything," G1 ordered. "Every sensor reading, every weapon impact, every adaptation we observed. Make sure the people building our real warship know exactly what they are up against. The aliens had shown their hand. Now it was time for humans to show theirs. Deep in the lunar construction bays, the Leviathan was almost ready. And thanks to the sacrifice of the first defense fleet, it would be armed with weapons designed specifically to kill bioships. The real battle was yet to come. Dr. Suminit Kang stood in the deep underground room beneath Seoul, looking at the floating pictures of broken alien ships. The room was carved out of solid rock, far below the city streets. Around the world, military leaders watched a presentation through secret communication channels that could not be intercepted. "Look at these alien ship pieces we collected," she said, moving her hand to make the 3D images spin and zoom. The aliens fight like most species in the galaxy. They have small battles, follow rules, and try not to break things they want to keep. General Dong-Hyun Park sat at the long metal table, leaning forward with interest. His uniform was wrinkled from days of working without sleep. "What makes us different, Doctor?" Every other species in space fights to take land or steal resources. They want to capture things without breaking them. But humans are the first species to develop something we call total war. She touched the controls and new numbers appeared in the air, glowing with soft blue light. The numbers showed how much of Earth's factories had been changed in just 3 weeks. General Park's eyes widened when he saw them. Even the other tough military officers looked shocked. "In 3 weeks, we changed 60% of all our factories to make weapons and war machines. We took equipment that digs asteroids and turned it into weapons. We took power plants that make electricity for cities and made them power our warships instead. Everything we have is now focused on one goal, destroying our enemy's ability to fight back." Admiral Jineo watched from her own bunker on the other side of the world. She had been studying the technical details of their secret projects. "Doctor, what about Project Prometheus? Is it ready?" Dr. Kang's face became very serious and a little sad. "It's ready and loaded onto the ship, but I hope we never have to use it. Some weapons are so terrible that even having them makes you question if you're still the good guys." From the moon, Captain Hyun Soo Kim's voice came through the speakers. He was at the construction site where the great warship was being finished. "The Leviathan will be ready to fight in 18 hours. All weapons work perfectly, including the ones that scare our own engineers." The room became very quiet. Everyone was thinking about what they had built. The ship being completed above the moon was not like the exploration vessels or cargo ships humans had made before. It was designed for one purpose only, to find enemy ships and destroy them as quickly and efficiently as possible. Dr. Kang continued her presentation, showing how human war thinking was different from alien war thinking. Other species have rules about fighting. They try to minimize damage. They fight over specific things they want. But humans developed the idea of total war during our world wars centuries ago. She showed pictures from human history. Factories that once made cars suddenly making tanks. Airplane companies building bombers. Entire populations working day and night to build weapons. When humans fight, we don't just send our military. We turn our entire civilization into a weapon. "The aliens expect us to fight like everyone else," General Park said, understanding now. "Small battles, limited goals, trying not to break too much." "Exactly," Dr. Kang replied. "They've never faced an enemy that will sacrifice everything to win. They've never fought a species that build weapons designed purely to kill, with no other purpose." The Leviathan was the ultimate expression of this philosophy. It was not designed to explore new worlds or carry cargo or conduct diplomacy. Every system on the ship existed to detect enemy vessels, target them, and destroy them completely. Its engines were built to chase down fleeing enemies. Its weapons were designed to penetrate any known shield or armor. Its computers calculated the most efficient ways to eliminate entire fleets. Admiral O looked at the weapon specifications on her screen. Some of these systems, the power requirements alone could run a small city. "That's the point," Dr. Kang explained. "We're not trying to be efficient or economical. We're trying to build something so overwhelmingly powerful that it can end the war quickly. The aliens have never seen industrial capacity focus entirely on destruction." Captain Kim's voice came through again from the moon base. "Doctor, the final weapon systems are being installed now. The engineers working on the main guns are nervous. They keep asking if we're sure we want weapons this powerful. Dr. Kang nodded sadly. Tell them that yes, we're sure. The aliens gave us a choice, surrender or be destroyed. So we're going to show them what destruction really looks like when humans put their minds to it. General Park stood up from the table, his face grim but determined. In 18 hours, we'll find out if our approach works. Either we save humanity, or we become the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The meeting ended, but everyone stayed in their seats for a moment, thinking about what they had unleashed. The Leviathan was almost ready, and with it, humanity was about to introduce the galaxy to the concept of total war. The aliens had no idea what was coming for them. Outside, in cities around the world, factories worked through the night, and people looked up at the stars wondering if tomorrow they would still be free. Fleet Commander Vextara felt something cold move through her body as a huge shape came out from behind the human moon. The living computers inside all the Alterian ships were sending mixed messages. They could not understand what they were seeing. What is that thing? Vextara asked. Their biosuit was connected directly to their ship's brain, a living creature that helped them think and fight. But even this advanced technology was confused. The object weighs 2.7 million tons, the ship's brain reported in a worried voice. We have never seen a ship built like this before. The power it is making, the readings don't make sense. It has enough energy to destroy entire planets. The alien ships have been moving closer to Earth for days, confident in their victory. Their bioships were beautiful and deadly, with hulls that could heal and weapons that could adapt. They had conquered many worlds using these living vessels. But now they faced something completely new. On the bridge of the human battleship Leviathan, Admiral Minute Lee stood perfectly still. His face showed no emotion, but inside he was filled with controlled anger. Around him, his crew worked at their stations with smooth, practiced movements. Every person on the ship had trained for one thing, destroying enemy vessels as efficiently as possible. The bridge was different from alien ship bridges. There were no living walls or glowing organic controls. Everything was metal and glass and bright lights. It looked cold and mechanical, built purely for war. Captain Hyunsu, all weapons ready? Admiral Lee asked in a calm voice. Captain Hyunsu Kim looked at his control panel, checking row after row of weapon systems. All kinetic guns are charged and ready to fire. Nuclear pulse batteries are at full power. Plasma cannons are operational. He paused and looked at one special control that glowed red. Project Prometheus is armed and ready if we need to use it. Lieutenant Sujin Park looked up from her communication station. Admiral, the alien command ship is trying to talk to us. Let me hear them. The bridge speakers crackled, and then an alien voice came through, translated by the ship's computers. Human vessel, your ship looks impressive, but you are still greatly outnumbered. Surrender now and your people will be peacefully absorbed into our confederacy. You will become part of something greater than yourselves. Admiral Lee's face did not change expression. His voice was as calm as if he were ordering coffee. Negative. This is Admiral Minute Lee of the Human Defense Force Battleship Leviathan. Your fleet has been analyzed and catalogued. We have calculated the best ways to destroy you. You have 30 seconds to begin leaving our solar system immediately. There was silence for a moment. Then the aliens began to laugh, a strange sound like wind through metal tubes. One ship against our entire fleet? Your species' arrogance will be fixed when we absorb you into our collective mind. Admiral Lee looked at his watch. 30 seconds passed. His expression still did not change. Time is up. Captain Kim, you may begin firing. What happened next lit up the space between worlds like a new sun being born. The Leviathan's weapons fired all at once. Streams of metal projectiles moving at incredible speed shot out from the ship's many guns. Beams of concentrated plasma, hotter than the core of stars, lanced across space. Nuclear-powered pulse cannons sent waves of destructive energy toward the alien fleet. The aliens had never seen weapons like these. Their bioships tried to adapt, their living hulls changing to absorb the new forms of attack. But the human weapons were designed specifically to overwhelm adaptive defenses. There were too many different types of destruction coming at once for the bioships to handle. The first alien vessel to be hit simply disappeared. One moment it was there, a graceful living ship glowing with bioluminescent patterns. The next moment, it was an expanding cloud of glowing gas and metal fragments. "Impossible," Vextar whispered, watching their fleet begin to die. The Leviathan moved through space like a mechanical predator. Its guns never stopped firing. Every shot was perfectly aimed by computers that had studied alien ship design for weeks. The human ship had been built for one purpose: to find enemy vessels and destroy them completely. The alien ships tried to fight back. Their living weapons fired beams of energy that could punch through normal ship armor. But the Leviathan's defenses were not normal. Its shields were designed to stop everything the aliens could throw at them. "All ships, concentrate fire on the human vessel," Vextar ordered desperately. Dozens of alien ships turned their weapons on the Leviathan. The space around the human battleship filled with deadly energy beams and living projectiles. But the big ship kept firing, its weapons cutting through the alien fleet like a sword through silk. Admiral Lee watched the battle displays with satisfaction. Everything was going exactly as planned. The aliens had expected to fight an enemy like themselves, with limited weapons and careful tactics. Instead, they were facing the full fury of human total war doctrine. The Altian Confederacy was about to learn that humans were different from every other species in the galaxy, and the lesson was going to be written in fire and destruction across the darkness of space. 6 hours after the battle started, Commander Vextar floated alone in a small escape pod. Around them, pieces of what used to be the most powerful fleet in the Altian Confederacy drifted through space like broken toys. Metal fragments, chunks of biohull, and the glowing remains of once-living ships created a field of debris that stretched for thousands of miles. The human battleship Leviathan hung in space like a gray mountain. Its hull was scratched and burned in many places, but it was still in one piece. The ship that the aliens had laughed at just hours before had destroyed 200 bioships with cold, mechanical precision. Vextar's hands shook as they activated the emergency communication system. "This is Commander Vextar calling any surviving Confederacy ships. All vessels must retreat immediately. Send this message to High Command. The humans have turned themselves into weapons." The escape pod's radio crackled with static. There were no other voices answering. Vextar was alone among the wreckage, the only survivor of a fleet that had conquered dozens of worlds. Inside the Leviathan, Admiral Minute-Ho Lee walked through the damaged corridors with Captain Hyun-Sik-Kim. They were counting their losses. 17% of the crew had died in the battle. There were holes burned through the ship's armor in 12 places. Several weapon systems had been destroyed. But they had won. "The ship did better than we hoped," Captain Kim said, looking at a report on his tablet. "The new armor held up against their bioweapons, and our targeting systems worked perfectly." They reached the bridge, where Lieutenant Sujin Park was sitting at her communication station with a confused look on her face. "Admiral, we're getting calls from all over the galaxy. Different alien species are asking to talk to us immediately." Admiral Lee smiled for the first time in weeks. "I bet they are. Put me through to Earth." The main screen lit up with the face of President Yun Su-shin. She looked relieved but also worried. "Admiral, the whole galaxy is talking about your battle. We're getting messages from alien governments that never even knew we existed before. They all want to make official contact with Earth." We need to be very careful how we respond," Admiral Lee said seriously. "We just showed the galaxy that humans build ships whose only purpose is to destroy other ships. That makes us either very good friends to have or very dangerous enemies to make." From the research station on the moon, Dr. Suminit Kang's voice came through the speakers. "Admiral, our long-range sensors are picking up huge fleet movements all across this part of the galaxy. Every major power is moving their ships around. They're all assuming Earth is now a major military force." The news of the battle spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. On thousands of worlds, alien leaders watched the recordings of a single human warship systematically destroying an entire fleet. The footage showed something they had never seen before: a ship built purely for war, with no other purpose except killing enemy vessels. The Zintherai Empire, which had been planning to expand toward human space, suddenly changed course and started building defensive positions. The Krolix Federation sent urgent diplomatic messages offering trade agreements. The Vegan Commonwealth immediately began studying human military tactics. 3 months after the battle, Ambassador Jae-Sung Lim stood in the Great Hall of the Galactic Council. The massive chamber was filled with representatives from hundreds of different species. But now, instead of looking down at him like he was a primitive savage, they watched him with respect and fear. "The human delegation is recognized," announced the council speaker, a tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms. Jae-sung walked to the center of the chamber, no longer representing a backward species asking for permission to join galactic society. He was now speaking for a military power that had changed the balance of everything. "The human government thanks the council for this recognition," he said in a clear, strong voice. "We look forward to peaceful relations with all civilized species." But everyone in the chamber knew the real message. Humans had announced their presence in the galaxy not with exploration ships or trade vessels, but with a battleship that could destroy entire fleets. The age of treating Earth as a primitive backwater was over. In the months that followed, human ships began appearing throughout the galaxy, but they were not the exploration vessels that other species built when they first reached the stars. They were warships, each one designed with the hard-learned lessons of total war. Other species built ships to explore, to trade, to colonize. Humans built ships to fight and win. It was a difference that would reshape galactic politics for generations to come. On Earth, construction had already begun on 12 more battleships like the Leviathan. The human military was not content with one victory. They were preparing for whatever challenges the galaxy might throw at them next. The galaxy had been ruled by the same old powers for thousands of years. Now there was a new player in the game, and they played by different rules. The age of human expansion had begun, and nothing would ever be the same. In the wreckage of the Altian fleet, Vexstar's escape pod was finally picked up by a rescue ship. The message they carried would echo through alien capitals across the stars. The humans have weaponized themselves, and they are very, very good at it.